Hello world! Welcome back to D-Podcast. I'm your host, Jack Folderman, Matt Paperman's slightly more intelligent cousin. Joining us today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, DeMarcus DeMarcus. Say hello, DeMarcus.
Hello, DeMarcus.
Always a jokester. So, DeMarcus, with Man vs. Wild recently off the air, we can expect you to do a little bit more saving, apparently. So, I'm going to ask you what all the fans are probably wondering as well. Is how did this all start? Well, Jack, it's been a wild ride, I must say. But yeah, I must have started when Bear Bills asked me to make that YouTube video when we were probably 13, 14. Silly little skip would shape the rest of our lives. Yes, and tell us more about that. Well, we gathered our collection of talking stuffed animals. I'd say that's a good age to still have them. Yeah, definitely around those like early teenage years. I definitely still had mine. It's interesting because we started with the polar bear, the penguin, and the baby mouse. And while we never expected to get as much traction as we did. Oh, yeah. At that age, I mean, how did gaining all that popularity feel? It was crazy. Crazy, excuse me. But all we could think about was how we could make our next hit video. So we brought along some upcoming stars with us, Socky and Spinal Basketball. Oh. Can't forget them. You know, it's still so sad thinking about what happened to them. It's really unfortunate, isn't it? Things definitely haven't been the same. But tell me more about those early seasons. Of course. So those videos were mostly just me and Bear goofing around, having a good time. Until episode 3, when the first questionable thing happened, actually. The baby mouse actually zombified me in that episode. I didn't even know. So tell me, what exactly is zombification now? Oh, yeah, it's sort of a telekinesis where one can control and manipulate the mind of another to obey them. And that's where you get the iconic line, must obey. So when you were zombified, what was that like? Like, did you know you were zombified? No, I had no idea, actually. We were lucky enough that Bear Bills had caught it on camera because I really had no recollection of any of that. Wow, really? So that established for us the fact that what happens to you when you're zombified doesn't affect your real life. Interesting. So after season 1, your budget seemed to increase significantly. Indeed, it did. At this point, we had actually signed on with a real production company. So our quality went up, our budget. We brought a lot more people on the team, including my cousin Billy. Oh, your cousins? Yep. I didn't know that for some reason. Oh, yeah, he expressed some interest in television production, so I kind of mentored him through the season 2 until we brought him along for the full-time job here. We also hired 1920s man for ad reads. Oh, of course, you gotta have the sponsorships. Yeah, that was a fun idea. Billy came up with that one, actually. Huh, cool. We also hired the baby dog, BB-8, the guy who talks weird. And you went to space, didn't you? Oh, no. No, that was the set. Really? And special effects. Really? Well, I thought this whole time, because it was so ambitious. No, it wasn't real. We thought it would be cool, though. Our budget wasn't that big, so... It's cool how in later years, we actually got to execute our ideas in real life. Like the time travel episode. That's exactly what I was talking about. You see, season 2 was when things really got weird. The guy who talks weird, who we had casted, ended up revealing himself to be a stuffed animal named the Evil Turtle. I remember that episode. What a plot twist. Yeah, except it was completely unexpected, actually. Really? It was super weird, yeah, no. Later we realized that the Evil Turtle was disguising himself as the guy who talks weird. Wow. Shape-shifting was the term we landed on. And that the guy who talks weird had actually been a victim of the Evil Turtle. That is insane. And more of these unexpected things happen in the Halloween special, right? I am never doing a Halloween special ever again because of that one. You are exactly right. The thing is, we hadn't really, we weren't really aware of the baby mouse's power to zombify. Back when it happened in episode 3 of season 1, Bear Bills thought it was a joke. So we started to kind of make fun of this power. I guess that made the baby mouse mad, so... It ended up zombifying everybody in the Man vs. Wild crew besides myself, including Bear Bills. He tried to save me, but yes, Bear Bills ended up getting zombified as well. It's terrible. It was. With everybody I knew and worked with completely zombified, there was really only one place I could go. My old friend, the general. Oh, he got fired, didn't he? What? Yeah, I heard a rumor that he lost his position in the army. He was kicked out. I don't know if that's true. He's a great general. That's true. It is just a rumor. It had something to do with MTV, too much time off duty, not doing what he was supposed to. No, that's stupid. General Flattire is one of the hardest working people I know. Oh, that's his name. Yeah, it is. My name is DeMarcus DeMarcus. Come on. True? That's true. That's true. Well, General Flattire and Private McNugget. Oh, that's the guy that says "ma," right? Yeah, that's the only thing he says. Well, they motivated me to go to confront the baby mouse. But before that, he sent Socky and Smelling Basketball after me. Thankfully, I found his unzombifying serum, and I set those two free. So that's how Socky and Smiling Basketball were unzombified. Yeah, the baby mouse found out about it, though. And before we could escape, he ran into us. Did he zombify you? No, he actually trusted me. What? He said he had a feeling about me. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I really don't remember that well. But what I do remember is what he taught me about zombifying. That is, if you get zombified once, you won't get zombified again. So Socky and Smiling Basketball were home free. Exactly. He also showed me his zombifying ray that he planned to use to zombify the entire world. Wow. I tried to destroy him. I really did. But unfortunately, I wasn't successful. I was tricked into doing it, pressing the button to activate the ray. So that's how it all happened. I'm not proud. I had to fix it. My mistake. I had to fix it. But the baby mouse threw me, Socky, and Smiling Basketball in a prison cell. So we did exactly what anyone would do in that situation. Broke out of the prison cell. Yes, tell us more about what you did to unzombify the world. Well, our first thought was to hypnotize everybody into being unzombified by taking over every screen on Earth. What? It didn't work. I was gonna say, if that's how we all got unzombified, then that is crazy. No, we tried, and actually along the way, we met the real guy who talks weird. Really? Because the evil turtle had him in like a frozen state so he could shapeshift into his body. But the guy who talks weird, he broke out of that frozen state after everybody else got zombified, which meant he could return to normal. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. And after that new discovery, the baby mouse tried luring me in so he could strike and finally zombify me. And how did he do that? Well, he gave me a choice. Either zombify myself or they would push Bear Bills off a skyscraper. What? So what did you do? Well, I thought I outsmarted them by thinking the evil turtle had shapeshifted into Bear Bills. Well, that's a fair assumption. Turns out I'm actually dumb as hell. Oh, and I killed Bear Bills. What? Well, if you remember, nothing that happens when you're zombified affects your real life. That's insane. So then if we successfully unzombified everyone, Bear Bills would be alive again. But did the baby mouse try to zombify you? He did. So what happened? Well, we remembered that I already have been zombified before. Wait, what? Back in the first season. Oh! Episode 3? Oh, yeah! I totally forgot about that! No, it's totally cool. Both the baby mouse and I forgot about it as well. It had been years at that point. So how did you settle things? I stole the unzombifying serum, saved the day. Oh, for some reason I heard there was a rap battle or something. No, there was not a rap battle, no. Oh. Yeah, no, I don't know where that rumor came from. That did not happen. Okay. So then season 3 was your next big thing. Yeah, we knew we had to absolutely destroy the world with this season. Not actually, that was a bad analogy, sorry. So you came up with the idea of going back in time. Exactly, we teamed up with Mike Flames and Mark Industries, but unfortunately that didn't end up working very well. How so? Well, there was a malfunction with the technology, and instead of sending all our subjects to the same moment in time, it sent them all to different ones. Wow. So Billy and I had to kind of go on like a rescue mission to save everyone. We found Private McNugget in this kind of like swampy area. Person McCuman, he was a new addition to the cast. Oh yeah, the nerdy kid who texts a guy named Jamal. I gotta text Jamal about this, yeah. I love him. He's a big fan of the show, so it was cool to have him with us. We saved him from, like, prehistoric times, actually. Bear Bills was on the Titanic. We made sure to get him off of that. 1920s man was sent to, ironically, the 1920s, but he chose to stay there. Huh? He was with a guy named 1920s dude, who apparently knew a thing about 1920s man's past, and that he was actually named Phil in the past. His past? Does he not know where he came from? No, he actually had no recollection of anything that happened to him before Man vs. Wild. We hired him, and he was like, I'm 1920s man. And we're like, this is a good personality. We want him on the show. We didn't know that he didn't know anything from before. That's so interesting. So 1920s man is gone for good. Well, actually, I'll get to that. So we left him in the 1920s there. And then Bear and I headed over to go find Socky and Smiling Basketball at the first Thanksgiving. And pretty famously, they were not there. It's so sad. I missed them a lot. We all do. They were great friends, but we had to keep moving forward with the season. I mean, we tried to cast a new comic relief, so we brought this kid along. He's pretty funny. Is that his name? Kid? Probably. Huh. But we had trouble finding someone to do the ad reads. What'd you do about that? We used the last working time machine to go back and get 1920s man. Oh, I actually did hear about that. Apparently he's in color now, actually. Oh yeah, that probably symbolizes something. Was he mad about you interrupting his journey to find himself and where he came from? Slightly, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. So you're saying there's still a working time machine? Oh, no, there's not. It immediately exploded after we used it. Oh, that sucks. And Mike Flames disappeared, so we have no idea how to make another one. Oh, that sucks. And then a snake that snuck into Billy's time machine when he was saving Private McNugget from the swamp area. Yeah, it grew really big and started to eat the whole city. Oh, that sucks. What did you do then? We canceled Man vs. Wild. What? The real reason? Well, we're a TV show. We shouldn't be having to save the whole world from its problems. And I care for the safety of my coworkers, of my friends, and it's too big of a risk. The public is kind of mad. What do you mean? Well, people are bringing up the points of, didn't you bring the snake into this world? Like, it came from your guys' time machine. Are you bringing the problems to us? The snake was not created by us in the first place, because while that it is true that we brought it here, we didn't give it to the ability to grow like that. We didn't know it was going to be a citywide threat. That's fair. While we are semi-responsible for bringing it here, it wasn't truly our faults. But that didn't stop my friend Billy from, assembling a team to try and stop it. Really now? He did try to stop the snake, it's true. He assembled Person McHuman and Kid. Well, he's stepping in the footsteps of his older cousin, DeMarcus, the hero. The hero. We have a question from a Patreon fan here. We're going to bring him on the screen, if you don't mind. What's up? The name's Todd. I'm a big fan of the podcast, actually. And DeMarcus, I got a question for you. Is sacrificing a normal life, isn't that what a hero would do? I had this conversation privately with Bear Bills, but I never asked to be the hero. I mean, I did what I had to do to unzombify the whole world, because that's what I needed to do. This snake thing was not up to me. So you've already talked to Bear Bills about this. He kind of freaked out on me. He seems like he's in a place of questioning right now, so he tried to be the hero and save me from getting zombified during the Halloween special, but he failed and got zombified himself. Oh, I'm so sorry. We don't have to dwell on that if you don't want to. Yeah. Thanks for having me on the podcast, Jack. And thanks for being a fan. See ya. So I'm hearing news about a man named Mr. Turns. That is correct. The fight against the snake was really quite interesting, actually. Person McHuman went up against it and got zombified? No, not zombified. He was still himself, but the snake had given him, extreme super strength. What the heck? I don't know, dude. Then it slid it away from the city, and after that, a portal showed up, and a dude named Mr. Turns came out of nowhere. Well, that's random. It's actually 1920s, dude. What? The guy who's saying his name was Mr. Turns. I recognize him. He's the same guy who said he knew all that stuff about 1920s man's past. What a plot twist. So he's the new villain in town. What an interesting turn of events. Well, thank you everybody for tuning into this episode of D Podcast. That was our interview with former Man vs. Wild director DeMarcus DeMarcus. Yeah, thanks for having me. And we'll see you next time. But that's not it. Hi, what's going on? I hope you enjoyed that video, but it's not over. I wanted to make this recap video on a podcast that was canon to Man vs. Wild, but that meant that I had to tell the story from DeMarcus's perspective. And he doesn't know that Socky and Smiling Basketball are actually alive. What happens is when Socky and Smiling Basketball go back to the first Thanksgiving, we meet a time-traveling man named Roy E. Biv, who says that Socky and Smiling Basketball look like good army material.
Listen, you seem army material, eh?
What do you mean, army material? I'm literally a sock!
He takes Socky and Smiling Basketball to what we will soon find out is the year 2009, where we meet a character named Boblo. There's a guy from another short film I made called Agent What's-A-Lot. All you need to know about Boblo is that he works for a king who he absolutely hates. When we see him in this series, though, it's about 10 years earlier from where we see him in Agent What's-A-Lot. Even though I'm almost 4 years older than I was when I filmed that, just ignore that fact. We also learned that in the past, the king got into a war with a nation called the Peoplians. They're stupid. But they tried to steal the king's super expensive and magical jewel. When Socky and Smiling Basketball meet Boblo, we see that Boblo's friends with this Roy E. Biv guy, except now he's wearing a different shirt than he was before for some reason. Boblo and Roy take Socky and Smiling Basketball for their army, and Socky teaches the two the Smiling Basketball's gibberish language.
Okay, Smiling Basketball, how do you say okay in your language?
Doha.
Okay, now you're all caught up. See you in the finale.